right, welcome to the Algebra 1 quiz review on solving systems of equations. Here's an example of one that you have to multiply to solve, but you only have to multiply 1 to solve. Now, to make 2 and 3 the same number and opposite signs would take us to have to multiply this by 3 and this by -2. So you'll get a -6 down here and a 6 up here. But that's not what we're going to do. This one seems easier because all I have to do is multiply the top by -2, and this will become a +2, and this will be able to cancel. So what I'm going to be doing is multiplying this entire line by -2. Okay, creating a new line, making it -4x plus 2y equaling +2, which I'm not going to write +2, but you know what I mean, 2. Now I'm going to just drag the 3x down here, so 3x, that's going to be -2y equals 1. So I just brought everything from here, I brought it down. Now you just add them straight down. So -4x plus 3x is just going to give me -x. These two are going to cancel, equals 3. -x equals 3. So if I multiply both sides by -1 or divide both sides by -1, the same thing is going to happen. It's going to change the signs of both. So x equals -3. Now what do I do with this -3? I put it back into one of these equations. I'll just put it into the top one. So 2x, which is 2 times -3, is going to give me -6 minus y equals -1. So all I have to do is solve this equation. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And y, -y, I almost forgot that, -y equals 5. So same thing as before, y equals -5. So the answer to this is -3 and -5. All right, let's try to square this out so we can solve the next one. Now this one, no matter which one you look at, actually this one just multiplied by 3 will do it. Ooh. Okay, let's do it as if we're trying to get rid of the front ones here. Let's pretend that these weren't that easy. So let's multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by -5. Okay, well, that's going to cause me an issue right there. We shall see. It's 330. Oh, I already did it. Okay, so that's going to be 15x. That's going to be -6y, and that's going to be -30. This one is going to be -15x minus 30y equals -330. So this is going to cancel. This is going to become -36y equals -360. Easy peasy. Y equals 10. So now I'm going to grab this y and put it back into the equation. So this top one is going to read 5x. Now y is 10. So -2 times 10 is still going to be -20 equals -10. So I'm going to add 20 to both sides. So 5x equals 10 and x equals 2. Boom. So the answer to this is 2, 10. Not that bad. Once you do, we've been doing this for a while now, so that you should have followed every single step, not had an issue. Here we go. So these are the questions that you're going to be seeing there. They're the same as the other sections, so they increase in difficulty slightly. I'm going to do another example of something simple, but then I'm going to show you one with decimal points. Ooh, it's not scary. So let's do this one. I'm going to multiply the top by -5. You should see why. If I multiply the top by -5, so I'll just write the description so you know what I'm doing. I'm multiplying everything by -5. So that's going to give me -10x minus 5y equals -5. And the bottom is just going to be 3x plus 5y, oh, you see it now, equals 5. So this is going to make negative 7x. This is going to cancel. This is also going to cancel and give you a 0. So negative 7 times something gives it 0. Oh, well, x is 0 then, because negative 7 times 0 gives you 0. So x is 0. So now I can put x into the equation. So 2 times 0 is 0. So y equals 1. That was very simple. So the answer to this is 0, 1. Wow. Now this one has two problems. One, I didn't give it to you in the right order. Okay? And second, there are decimal points. So let's deal with the first issue that you're looking at. All these decimal points. Oh my God, Mr. Gassers, these are all super scary. Well, what's the biggest decimal point? One number behind the decimal point? Well, if I multiply top and the bottom by 10, this issue is gone. This is 10x equals 36y plus 7. There we go. If I multiply the bottom by 10, I also get 20x plus 2y equals 384. That's going to be annoying later. And that's so far I'm done. Now we can treat it like a normal problem like we have been before, and we can ignore these decimal points. So no more decimal points, just big, large numbers. For some reason, you guys seem this more palatable than this. Palatable is the right word? It could be the wrong word. So now I'm going to make sure that the x is on top of the x, the y is on top of the y, and the equal sign is on top of the equal sign by simply moving this 36y to the other sign of the equal sign, which changes its sign. So now it's going to read like this. 10x minus 36y equals positive 7, which is just a 7. And then this is going to be 20x plus 2y, nothing changes about the bottom one, equals 384. Now I'm just going to multiply the top by negative 2, and that'll cause this to cancel. So if I multiply the top by negative 2, now I'm running out of space, so I'm going to do a little shortcut method here. I'm just going to put it right underneath and subtract there. So this is going to be negative 20x. This is going to be positive 72y. And that's going to be negative 14. All right? So it's going to cancel. This is going to be 74y equals 370. Am I correct? Yeah. So that's going to be 384. That's negative 14. Yep, that's what I get. 74 divided by 370. So I know that this times 5 gives me 370. Is it a negative? No, it's a positive. So, and this is also positive. So y equals 5. So now that I know what y is, I can put it back into any problem I want. I'm going to put it back into this one. Okay? Or no, this one. So we know that y equals 5. I'm going to put it back into this problem right here. So it's going to read 20x plus, what's 5 times positive 2? 10 equals 384. So I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. So we're left with 20x equals 374. Divided by 20. X equals, so let's do 374 divided by 20. That's 1. That's 20 minus 17. That's 4. That's going to be 8. That's 116. That's 14. That's a 4 and a 7. So 18.7. 18.7. Right? Yep, 18.7. So hopefully that's right. So the answer is 18.7 and 5. Real fancy. Okay, hopefully that's all correct. The idea of multiplying this by 10 doesn't change anything other than the way that it looks. Okay, the math is still sound all the way down. Okay, if I made a subtle mistake, please point it out. I don't mind. I like to do it right. Okay, just holding this video camera at the same time does throw my vision off. Now, what we're going to be doing in this one is graphing these two lines. Remember, you're pretending this is an equal sign for when you're graphing the actual line. Okay, so, oh, that's horrible. Okay, and a little bit of that, and we are good to go. So let's graph this. This is y is greater than x minus 2. So y equals x minus 2 is how we're going to graph it. So we're going to find negative 2, which is right here, 1, 2, right there. And the slope is 1 over 1. So over 1 from here, up 1 over 1 right here. That's the two dots. Now, we all know that if it doesn't have the line underneath, it's actually making a dotted line. So here's our dotted line. Here's your dotted line. Okay. Now, y is less than or equal to x. Now, it has no slope, so we know that it starts on 0, 0. I mean, not the slope. It has no y-intercept, which means it starts on 0, 0. And the slope is 1, so it goes up 1 and over 1. So there you go for this one as well. Same slope starting at different positions. Now, for this one, the first line we did, y is greater than this. So if it's greater, that means it's shading this here. This is all shaded. This is me shading because I'm a good shader. Throwing some shade around. Oh, you like that joke? That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so this next one says y is less than. So then it's below the other line. So this one we'll do this way. Now, where it's shaded both, which is just this area right here in between, is where both are shaded, is where all the possible solutions are. Okay? So if I was using a highlighter, I'll do yellow and then I'll do orange, and where it made green would be the solution. Same thing here. Now, when you get something like this, there is a way of graphing it like this. You could just put a number in for x and solve for y, put a number in for x, solve for y, and then you'll get 2 points, and that's enough. Some of you don't like that. Like if I put a 0 here, y equals 1. So I know that 0, 1 is the answer, is one of the dots. But I know you guys don't like that, so we'll do it the way that you guys have been really liking doing it, which is just move the x to the other side. So now the equation reads like this. Positive y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 1. And this one is going to read, I'm going to move the x to the other side, but then I have to divide everything by 2. So it's going to read y is greater than negative 1.5 x plus 1.5. You see how this is getting difficult? But you guys like doing this one. Okay. So for this one, for this first one is the easiest. So let's do the one up here. That's the first dot. And then the slope is negative 1 over 1. So negative 1 over 1. And then this, so this is it dotted? No, it's solid. Solid line. Solid line. And we're going to be shading that one in. Y is greater, so it's above it. Right here. Then this next one is starts on a half, so right here starts on a half, and it goes down 1 and to the right 2, so 1, 2 right there. So let me link that. Is that a solid line? No, that's a dotted line. So dotted line. Okay, perfect cameraman workmanship here. And then y is greater than this one. So this one is shaded like that. And only where both are shading, so none of this is the right answer. Only this up here is the right answer. None of that either. None of this, obviously. So, and that's how you do it. You just graph each line individually. Remember, on a graph, if something says y is less than 3 or x is greater than 2, when there's only one variable, that means it's a straight line, vertical or horizontal. So first you find y equals 3. So y equals 3 is right here. Y equals 3. Now, it has to be a line that's straight and does not touch x ever. So it's a straight line like this. I'm going to make my answer right by going like that. Okay. Same thing here. X is greater than or equal to 2. So you find x equals 2, which is right here. And that's going to be a straight line that never touches y, which means it's going like this. Oh, I broke the pencil again. This is just bad craftsmanship here. Okay, and that's it. All right, guys. That's the whole thing. Those are the last 4 questions are on this graphing.